So this video is either going to piss you off or encourage you. And I want to talk about this because there's a lot of things that you see on Etsy. There's a lot of sellers that you wonder how they got there. And as soon as you realize what I'm going to talk about today, it will allow you to kind of free your mind and be less stressed about the process on Etsy, selling on Etsy. The goal of this video is not to offend anybody. It's not to make anyone mad. It's actually to encourage you and talk about how the algorithm works and talk about how selling on Etsy and marketplaces in general work. So let's get into it. There are people selling on Etsy 10 times dumber than you, making 10 times more money than you are. How do I know this? Because you can go on to many large Etsy stores. Some of them you can tell they're drop shipping. Some of them they aren't. Some of them are legit. And you look at things like their SEO. You look at things like they just don't have a profile image. You notice that they have no privacy policies. They have no FAQs, things like this. And you wonder why these people are making so much money if they don't care about the most simple aspects and details of having an Etsy store. And you either conclude that they're dumb or they don't care or something along those lines. How could they not care about such simple details and make all that money on Etsy? Well, it is typically lesson number one here is typically that stores that blow up and do amazing $1 million Etsy stores, things like that, a lot of times, and I know this from experience, a lot of times these stores fall into this dumb luck. They'll fall into dumb luck and success because of, here is the kicker, because of the product. The product and the photos and the price. That is it. The algorithm is designed to go off of human behavior. So if the product is really good, the algorithm shows it to people. If the product is really good, meaning the photos and the price, human behavior does all of the rest of the work. The human behavior reacts to said product, and the intelligence of the seller has nothing to do with that product. There are going to be people on Etsy that try random things, whether it's legitimate or not, whether they're drop shipping or they have a real skill to make handmade crafts, and they're going to do amazingly well. It just happens. There's dumb luck that exists. And even the people that experience the dumb luck, it's not like I'm saying they're dumb. But it feels dumb, right? So the algorithm doesn't care. And I talked about that in a previous video, but that's one of the biggest lessons here is that the algorithm doesn't care what you sell. And because of that, you will experience situations where you wonder how that Etsy store is doing so well if they don't have a profile image or anything else. So that's the first thing. And remember, I'm making this video also because I want to encourage you that you don't stress so much about selling on Etsy because you are really just one product away from going viral. So lesson number one was the algorithm. Lesson number two is people fall into success via dumb luck. And the third lesson here is they're able to do that sometimes by not caring as much because maybe you're watching this video and you have meticulously learned absolutely everything there is to learn about Etsy. And you have gathered so much information and you know a lot about selling on Etsy, but you struggle to sell as much as you would like to. And you see these other stores that break rules or these traditional rules or lessons you've learned from YouTubers like myself or others, and you wonder why the heck they're doing so well. And it's because of how the algorithm reacts to human behavior. The algorithm doesn't check to see how many YouTube videos you watch. The algorithm doesn't check to see how many courses you purchased or how many, hours you've spent on your Etsy store. The Etsy algorithm only reacts to how humans react to the product. So use this as encouragement because if you can get this mindset into your your Etsy theology, then you'll understand that you can take off with a product and do really well if you get all of these elements in check and in line. So there are Etsy sellers 10 times dumber than you, making 10 times the amount of money than you, millions even. And it's all because of how the algorithm reacts. In nowadays, it's that way more so. SEO is almost, I almost want to say SEO is number two compared to click through rate and conversion rate because the algorithm wants to make customers happy, and happy customers react different ways to different products, and that's click through rate and conversion rate. Now obviously your SEO needs to get that product in front of the right people, but it's almost as if SEO is number two. It's extremely important, and you never want to just throw everything you ever learned out the window, but you want to view Etsy as kind of like a social media feed versus a library and an index. And it's like that. It's very much like that. So I hope this video could encourage you and help you understand the marketplace of Etsy. Etsy is very different from Amazon. Etsy is very different from eBay. It's a marketplace. Listings have lifetimes, and they can't just sit there and be ready to go in an index card box. And when somebody types something in, they're like, oh, yeah, he listed this 3 years ago and it's only gotten one sale, but you matched up with the search term, so we'll put it in front page. That's not how it works. It's just like a social media feed, and less engagement means less visibility. Look at it like that, and you'll do much better. Just that alone, just that little lesson alone. Look at Etsy like a social media feed rather than an indexed library of listings, like more like eBay or Amazon, and you'll do a lot better. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you've seen on Etsy in terms of people either breaking rules or legitimate stores that you feel don't deserve the success. Everybody deserves the success if they work hard for it, aside from Etsy dropshippers. But let me know what you've seen on Etsy. And in the meantime, have a beautiful day.